Hello, my friends. A lot of you are letting me know that there are a lot of viral videos and comments out there about OpenAI is lying to everybody about where they're at and the progress of their models and how awesome they're going to be. Here's Steve from Builder AI or Builder IO. I'll shout out to him. He's one example of actually hundreds of videos coming out trying to show some of the math. And the idea is that the model is getting worse and worse, or else they're reaching a plateau in their own double descent and all the variables, and they're not as cool, and everything is flying on hype right now. And the big one is that why would everybody from OpenAI be leaving if these models were so good? I have an alternative point of view, which I'd like to share with you. Because of my background in military intelligence, and also, this is a long time ago, guys, like the 80s and 90s, early 80s and 90s, and working with military level and programmers with my natural language processing company, formerly called ThemeZoom, my alternative position to help you think through a little bit is what we're actually dealing with. You already know that an NSA directive is involved at OpenAI, and of course, remember, OpenAI appointed retired U.S. Army General Paul M. Nakasone. He's the board of directors, and I've been researching quite a bit about him. He's director of the National Security Agency, previously the director of the NSA, and he's a 4-star general, and he knows a lot about cybersecurity. So for all the young, super bright AI youth popping up out of Silicon Valley, part of this generation, I just want to let you know, at this scale, you can't tell anyone what you have in the can. This is the reason Elon Musk got so concerned. Okay, when you know. This is one of those things. The reason the concern is there is everybody had this naive idea that intelligence and AI was going to be shareable to the public. And what you have is a correlated and coordinated effort with all the big tech bros and anybody who's $1 billion or greater in personal assets running these companies. They're going to coordinate. Okay, and this is game theory 101, merge and collude. All right. So one of the things that you need to understand is that when intelligence of this level starts to emerge, and just the basics of what I've seen is mind blowing. What I've worked with in the various algorithms that we've created around this and the rest. This stuff is probably going into different databases. Okay, I'm talking about the stuff that is huge, the stuff that is incredibly dangerous, the stuff that interfaces with the material sciences. Those of you who have seen Kaylin and myself building the chart called the future of AI, you know, okay, inside engines are not public. For example, the AlphaFold, you can't go into the AlphaFold engine that solved the protein problem, which is probably $1 trillion industry that big pharma would love to have every single detail and build more upon, and put that on the internet for Google people to use out in the wild. Hey, let's Google a new form of protein that I could use in this instance. Okay, there's CRISPR, there's a variety of, we're facing a really serious thing where what is in the wild cannot be what is in the can. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you guys is that the math that you're seeing is not the math. Okay, and believe me, I'm not a sky pilot or a shill for big tech. I'm letting you know that extrapolated functions and what these things can do, whether it's the size of the model, whether you're dealing with new forms of vector databases and new types of what's called high resolution thinking or high dimensionality in these models, this is going to be proprietary. All right. This is why during this last election, all the politics of this, what Musk is doing, Musk just went around a different way. Okay. And what they're doing is they're going to make sure that this kind of AI supremacy, before it leads to quantum supremacy, is highly secure and is owned by the larger 3-letter agencies, which have their hands in everything. Okay, so that doesn't happen for no reason, and Sam's job is to make sure that the trajectory of ridiculously high valuations for things that has no limit, which would be what intelligence is, continues to go. All right, they continue to have investors all lined up, but they continue to make more money than anybody, actually changing the entire definition of money. And of course, anybody who's got an eye for futurism is going to see there's a world coin where you're supposed to scan your eyeball, Minority Report style. Okay. A lot of you have texted me and asked me how I can say all this stuff with a smile. Okay. It's because if somebody is deeply into conspirituality or it's a combination of the word conspiracy and spirituality. You got to understand, like, I've worked for companies, I've been involved in the meme-plex shaping of, I've watched over the last 24 years how more and more stuff that we thought was crazy is just going to get out of the can. Guys, gals, we're having congressional hearing on UAPs popping in and out of our oceans. Everybody in my circles known that's been happening since '93 now. And now it's like the psychological warfare of all that. Whatever they're going to do with that, whether it's malinformation, misinformation, okay, whatever it is that you think about psychological operations. I was trained in psychological operations. So one of the things I just want you to be aware of is whatever they say they have right now, whatever all of our YouTubers and creators can talk about and show in these fancy graphs and models, on average, in the tech industry, with the infrastructure, they're between 5 and 25 years ahead, depending upon how dangerous the technology is to release upon the population. What I mean by dangerous is twofold. It doesn't, if you roll out everything all at once, you can't milk it all for money. Okay? And you also can't milk it all for the control mechanisms. You have to put infrastructure in place so that the power brokers and the money systems and the controllers within the top levels of these organizations can make sure to maintain, quote, security and control over all of these technologies. So you guys know I like Greek mythology. Okay, Prometheus. There's a reality tunnel that's going on. Prometheus brings down fire for mankind, aka technology. That's how innovation works. And he's punished severely for it. There's many different versions of the story, but the main version of the story is that I think he was placed on a tree, sound familiar, for an eternity while wild birds plucked away at his gizzard. Like what, you know, even deep in our collective storytelling functions, there are mechanisms about technology and how controlling it is key and essential, and that the laymen, the lay people, the masses don't deserve it. They're irresponsible with it. They won't know what to do with it. And the people who build it will just lose control if they give it to everybody. Okay. So what I'm trying to tell you is what you're reading on the internet right now, I assure you, is just scratching the surface of what this stuff can do. But it goes to the power brokers and to the three-letter agencies first, period, for a variety of reasons. And so what side you take on that, whatever conspirituality you have with all of that, I get it. But one thing that you shouldn't think is that people leaving OpenAI can't possibly be leading to artificial general intelligence because everybody's leaving. No. What did Ilya see as a meme? And I know what Ilya saw. He saw a multimodal, fully integrated robot superintelligence that can make autonomous decisions on the battlefield or in public or in your home with the same robot shell. Okay, that's what Ilya saw. And if you go now, he's gone and started, and he's the one, by the way, just so in case you don't know who Ilya is at OpenAI, he's the one who put it all together. He took things like, attention is all you need, the original open source paper, and built OpenAI out of it that now makes more money than any company ever in the history of the world could possibly even imagine making. And he dukes it out with Sam, and they try to remain civil, Sam Altman of OpenAI. And then he leaves suddenly and goes and starts SSI Inc. Okay, here it is. We've raised $1 billion from NFDG and Sequoia. The Sequoia tried to give me money for ThemeZoom in 2006. Okay, so he started this company, Safe Superintelligence. That should tell you all you need to know about what's really going on. Okay, when you're faced with something that's too good, that's too culture changing, and you know as much as Ilya knows, you got to have some measure of control. And if everything is moving into the into the commercial space very rapidly, and you have a different opinion about the speed with which you should release things and its impact on culture, you might take a different decision. That happened in my own company with some of us working at ThemeZoom. So my point here is, no, it's probably better than what's being publicly reported in terms of artificial general intelligence and how close we are to it. That's my hunch. I could be wrong. We're on Team Human. We're here to support you. Talk to you soon.